Let's dive into a really provocative idea from Friedrich Nietzsche. What if the very place we go to learn, the classroom, is actually where powerful ideas go to die? Today we're digging into his critique of education from the gay science, and I gotta tell you, it might just change how you look at every lecture or meeting you ever sit in again.
You know that feeling, right? You're sitting in a class or maybe a training seminar, and you can just feel that the spark, the raw energy of an idea is gone. It's like you're dealing with a ghost of knowledge, not the real thing. Well, you're not alone. This is exactly the feeling Nietzsche zeroed in on over a century ago, and he had a pretty powerful theory as to why it happens.
So, here's Nietzsche's big claim. The second you drag knowledge into the rigid, formal setting of a lecture hall, you kill it. It stops being this living, breathing force and instead becomes a kind of performance, a theatrical show. And in that process, it loses the one thing that made it important in the first place, its power to actually transform you.
To really get what he's saying, we've got to see the world of knowledge through his eyes. And for him, it's split into two completely separate, conflicting realms. There's the world inside the classroom, and then there's the much bigger, wilder world of knowledge outside of it.
I mean, just look at the words he uses here. It says it all. Inside the institution, knowledge is stale, it's shriveled, it's laborious. Basically, it's been tamed and made useful. But outside, out there, knowledge is expansive, it's dangerous, it's noble, and it's full of life. This is the central conflict, and he's forcing us to pick a side.
So how does this actually happen? I mean, how do these huge, powerful ideas get so neutered? Well, Nietzsche says it's not an accident. It's a deliberate process of domestication.
He pretty much lays out a three-step playbook for taming a wild idea. First, the institution finds a dangerous concept and isolates it. Then, they wrap it in the chains of formal logic and historical context. Basically, they file its teeth down. And finally, it's all put into a neat little box, packaged as a useful lesson that won't upset anyone or change anything fundamental.
And this really gets to the motive behind it all. For the institution, the goal isn't some genuine eruption of new insight. That's way too messy. No, the real goal is the preservation of the species. It's about keeping the system stable and producing people who will fit right into it without making waves.
Now, this system doesn't just flatten ideas. It has a huge and kind of tragic effect on the thinkers themselves. Nietzsche saw the modern scholar as someone who had been seriously demoted.
Yeah, demoted. The thinker goes from being a bold commander, exploring new frontiers of thought, to being what Nietzsche calls a laborious technician. Their job just becomes managing information, following the rules. It's a profound loss of dignity, in his view.
So you have to ask, why would anyone accept this deal? Nietzsche says it's because the motivations themselves get corrupted. The game is no longer about the pure search for truth. Instead, it becomes about greed for status, for security. Scholars learn to be shrewd, to avoid those wicked truths that might risk their careers. The grand prize isn't wisdom anymore, it's tenure.
And it all leads to this: a deep, fundamental corruption. That authentic, messy search for knowledge turns into a performance. It's a show you put on for your peers, but the institution. It becomes all about looking like an expert, not doing the hard, lonely work of actually finding truth.
Okay, so that all sounds pretty bleak, I know. But here's the good news. Nietzsche doesn't just leave us stuck in the lecture hall. He offers us a way out. And the solution is incredibly simple, but also totally radical. You have to step outside the room.
Remember that other world we talked about? Well, this is it. This is where we need to be. Outside the classroom, reality is expansive, it's messy, it's unpredictable. And yeah, it's dangerous because it hasn't been sanitized for our protection. To face that world, Nietzsche says you need a noble soul. You need the kind of courage that the institution is designed to stamp out.
Taking this step means becoming what Nietzsche calls a free spirit. So what is that? It's someone who rejects that slavish need for a gold star from the institution. It's someone who reclaims that ancient pride of being a genuine seeker. You're not afraid to chase an idea that has no practical purpose, to be objectless. And above all, you develop a kind of personal honesty with yourself that no textbook could ever give you.
So where does this path lead? What's the ultimate destination for the free spirit? Well, it leads to Nietzsche's most positive, life-affirming vision for what knowledge can be. He called it the gay science.
Now, when he says gay, he means joyful, lighthearted. For Nietzsche, the gay science isn't a subject you study, it's a way you live. It's a pursuit of knowledge that's deeply tied to life itself. It's not stale or laborious, it's vibrant and experimental.
It embraces the festive uncertainty of the world, far, far away from the stagnation of the classroom.
And the context here is absolutely crucial. Nietzsche saw that traditional religious belief was fading, his famous Death of God. He worried that academia was just swooping in to fill that void with its own set of rigid, secular rules and dogmas. The gay science is his weapon against that. It's a way to break these new shackles and learn to live freely without needing any institution to tell you what is true.
And this brings us to one of his most beautiful points. Real, profound truth isn't something you can just write down in a notebook. The highest truths, he says, have to be embodied. They have to be lived and even danced. Truth becomes a part of who you are, not just an idea you possess.
So, at the end of the day, the point of all this searching and learning isn't to find the right answer on page 256. The real goal is to achieve a sovereign and playful existence, to become the commander of your own life, and to approach the world with a sense of curiosity and joy. That is the real prize.
So I'll leave you with this. Nietzsche was talking about the universities of his time, but his lecture room is such a powerful metaphor, isn't it? It could be a career path you feel stuck in, a social circle that limits you, or even your own fixed ways of thinking. The question he leaves for us is a personal one. In your life, what lecture room do you need to step out of?